It was outside of the traditional uniform that I knew, which was the military uniform. Now I was wearing the new uniform, which were my scars on my body. And the new weapon was not the M16 that I had in my hand. The new weapon were now the words that came out of my mouth and the way that I carried myself, the way that I moved through all these different spaces. So it wasn't my words, it was my actions, the way I carried myself. And so I got involved in the nonprofit sector, and then it just kind of, I stayed busy as I was going through my recovery. But and the reason I say I'm going to be open and transparent with you guys is because when I got out of the military and I started acting reckless because of constant rejection, my best friend is the one that told me one night, he said, when I was lashing out at somebody, wanting to fight somebody for no reason, just because I was mad at the world and I needed to take it out on somebody. And he sat me down and he said, man, you need to cry. And I was like, what are you talking about? He says, you need to cry. And I finally started crying. And he says, man, you got all this stuff pent up inside of you. You've healed physically, but you haven't healed emotionally and mentally. And I'm going to tell you how powerful that moment was. At that point, I had known this man for probably like 2.5 years. And I can tell you, I don't know how long before that night, that conversation that took place, but I can tell you at least 6 months prior, for 6 months prior to that conversation, he'd always end a conversation over the phone or in person by saying, I love you, JR. And I'd always say, all right, I'll talk to you later. Good talk, bro. All right, cool. That's what I would say. The next day after that, intense conversation, I'm the first one that actually said to him, I love you, Dan. And I meant it, because he actually showed me unconditional love. He showed me that he can create a space for me to be vulnerable, to share, to cry, and he wouldn't judge me for it.